Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me on the premiere of Sports Replays. My name is Larry, and I will be your announcer for tonight's game. So I will be using OOTP 26 to continue a replay of the 1961 World Series between the New York Yankees and the Cincinnati Reds. In real life, the Yankees won the series against the Reds 4-1. However, in my replay, the Yankees lead 3-2 after 5. So this is a game 6 that was never played in real life. So needless to say, I had to develop or imagine what the lineups might be. And I remember distinctly that it's quite possible that based on the results that this series produced, that the lineups could definitely be changed. So one thing to notice in particular in this game 6 is that I have benched Roger Maris, who unfortunately is only batting about a $120 in the series. Johnny Blanchard is playing right field today and has had a torrid bat in the time that he has played in the World Series. Also, Elio Chacon is starting at second base. He is hitting .357 as is third on the team, fourth on the team in hitting in today's lineup. So Bill Stafford is going to face Ken Johnson here in Game 6. And so we will get this underway as Elio Chacon leads off for the Reds against Bill Stafford. So let's play ball. Here we go. Ground ball, second base, Richardson. Over to Scowen, one away. Vada Pinson, who is not having a good series, is going to bat second. He is hitting a .217 for the series. Left-handed batter. Here's the wind and the pitch by Stafford. Ground ball, second base, Richardson, 2 outs. Pinson grounds out with a 2-strike, 2-ball count for 2 outs. We now see Frank Robinson, .278 for the series. The 3-1 pitch from Stafford. Ball 4, Robinson's going to get a free pass. So the Reds have a runner on first with 2 outs for Wally Post, who is playing left field today, hitting .381 in the series. Robinson at first. First pitch swinging, Post to Mantle in center, and that's going to retire the side with 1 man left on for the Reds. We go to the bottom of the first with the Yankees coming to bat. Ken Johnson facing Bobby Richardson. One strike to Richardson. Fly ball, pop up. Chacon is going to run in and catches it on the first base line for 1 out. Tony Kubek hitting .273, left-handed batter. Wind in the pitch. Bloop to the third baseman, Freeze. 2 outs. Here's Mantle. He's seen limited action, but he's hitting .400. A 1-ball, 2-strike pitch from Johnson, and that's going to freeze Mantle, a called third strike. So the Reds get out of the inning with 1 man left on. Nobody left on. So we now have Gordy Coleman up hitting .286. 1 ball and no strike from Stafford, and here's the pitch. Fly ball left. That's going to get over Barrett. Nope, Barrett's going to be right there to pick it up. Drifted on him a little bit, but he caught it. 1 out. Gene Freese torrid bat in the series, 400 for the third baseman. 2 balls, 2 strikes, freeze, ground ball, short, Kubek over to Scourin, 2 men out. Eddie Casco hitting .286, playing shortstop today in the 7th hole. Base hit into left field for Casco. It's going to get through Berra's legs. Casco is going to stop at second. So that's a single and an error on Berra, leaving him at second base with 2 outs. And here's Darryl Johnson, who has had a good series, even though he's had limited playing time, sharing the catching duty with Johnny Edwards. Johnson at .375, 3 for 8 in the series. Here's Johnson. Wind in the pitch. Ground ball to Richardson. Easy 3-hopper. And he's over to Scourin to retire at the side. So the Reds get the first hit of the game, but leave a man on. 1 hit, 1 error. We go to the bottom of the second with Elston Howard, who is swinging a very hot bat. .450 average for Howard. He's had 3 home runs in this series and 9 RBIs. Pop up. 1 out. That's going to be a catch by Elio Chacon. 1 away. Johnny Blanchard also hitting a hot bat. .556. 5 out of 9 in the series. Here's the wind by Johnson and the pitch. That is going to dunk into left field. Post that plays it on 1 hop. Blanchard in with his 6th hit of the series. So now we have Yogi Berra up hitting .312. 6 RBIs for him with 2 homers. Berra swings. Pop up. Left side. Eddie Casco. 2 outs. Moose Scourin, even getting a close. Even 300. He has a homer in the series. And he walks him. So the Yankees have 2 men on for Cletus Boyer. .278 bat. No homers, no RBIs in the series. Here's the wind and the pitch. Boyer. Dribbler to first. Coleman's going to throw it over to a covering Ken Johnson. And the Reds get out of the inning. The Yankees leaving 2 men on. So here's Johnson to lead off the 9th. Here's the wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike out for Stafford. That's his first strikeout of the day against the Yankees. Chacon is up 0 for 1, batting .333. The wind and the pitch. Little looper, line drive out to the pitcher, 2 outs. Beta Pinson now up, looking to get the bat started. And he's going to get a walk. So Pinson is on first. Good speed with Frank Robinson up. Frank Robinson with a long fly ball to left field. That ball is not going to stay in the park. Frank Robinson with a 2-run blast with 2 outs off of Bill Stafford, and the Reds jump out in front 2-0. Here's Wally Post. Post with 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sharp ball to Richardson. Richardson up with it. He makes the catch. But Frank Robinson puts the Reds up on top 2-0. So now here's Johnson to face the pitcher, Bill Stafford. Here's the wind and the pitch. Bill Stafford, slow ground ball to Chacon, over to Coleman, 1 out. Here's Richardson, top of the order. He's 0 for 1. Wind and the pitch. That ball's going to dunk in for a base hit in front of Pinson. Pinson plays it on 1 hop. And Richardson, with his speed, gets over to second base with a stand-up double, sliding double. Here's Kubek. Tony Kubek up the middle. But Chacon has it. Played him a little bit over. Moves Richardson to third. Here's Mantle looking for a hit. 0 for 1 in this game. And he strikes Mantle out. And that retires the side. The Yankees leave another man on. We move to the 4th. Reds 2, Yankees nothing. Gordy Coleman up. Swing and a miss. Stafford with a strikeout. That's his 2nd strikeout of the game. Gene Freese now up. He's 0 for 1. Nubber out in the front of the mound. Howard goes out and gets it. And he throws him out. 2 outs. Here's Eddie Casco. Winding the pitch. Elston Howard catches the pop-up behind home plate. So now we have Elston Howard up 0 for 1. Johnson's thrown 40 pitches. He strikes out Howard, 1 out. Johnny Blanchard, 1 for 1. Wide pitch. Sharp ball to Chacon. Over to Blanchard, 2 outs. Here's Yogi Berra. Ripped to right, but right at Robinson. So that leaves us going to the 5th. 2-0 Reds. There. Johnson strikes out. 1 away. Here's Ken Johnson. He's pitched a masterpiece. Line in the pitch. Fly ball to center. Mantle doesn't move for it. Makes a catch. 2 outs. Here's Chacon. 0 for 2 for Elio Chacon. That ball's going to be popped over to first base, and Skowron has it and squeezes it. 4 out. Here's Skowron. Johnson's thrown 52 pitches. Skowron, 1 plate appearance and a walk. The line in the pitch. Fly ball right. Pinson back. He's at the track. Robinson, 1 out. Clete Boyer up. He's nothing out of 1. Line in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Stafford will be lifted. We aren't going to lift Stafford for a pinch hitter. It's going to be Hector Lopez. So Hector Lopez is going to bat for Bill Stafford here in the bottom of the 5th. Lopez is only hitting 111. He's 1 out of 9. Base hit for Hector Lopez. No, I'm sorry. He was 0 for 8 into the series. He's now 1 for 9. So that was Hector Lopez's first hit in the series. Here's Richardson. Lopez with decent speed. Richardson up. Ground ball to the shortstop. Casco's just going to go to second. And that's going to retire the side. So the Yankees are going to go down in the 5th. And coming out of the bullpen for the Yankees is a well-rested Broker. We're going to see Tex Clevenger now in the top of the 6th. So Clevenger has not made an appearance in this World Series through 5 games. This being Game 6. So here's Clevenger to face Vada Pinson. Here's the wind and the pitch. Ground ball. Up the middle. Slow roller. Richardson throws it. But Pinson is going to be safe on an infield hit. Frank Robinson. Tough break for Clevenger on that one. Frank Robinson sharply hit to Kubek. On to second to Richardson. No throw to first. Robinson facing safe on the fielder's choice. Here's Wally Post 0 for 2. Line in the pitch. Fly ball to right. Blanchard takes a couple of steps and has it. 2 outs. Gordy Coleman ripped to center. Base hit. Robinson's going to move over to third. So the Reds have runners at first and third as Coleman comes through. Here's Jerry Freese 0 for 2. Wind in the pitch. Fly ball. Right to Berra. Berra doesn't move for it. And that's 3 outs. So we now have Kubek, Mantle, and Howard to face Ken Johnson, who's only thrown 63 pitches so far. A ground ball. Short. 1 out. Here's Mantle. Yankees down 2-0. Fly ball. High fly ball. Drifting back. That foul will not stay in the park. 473 feet from Mantle. And the Reds lead is cut in half at 2-1. Mantle with a homer. Now here's Howard. Johnson winds and throws. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Here's Blanchard. 1 for 2 on the day. He'll try to tie it up. Sharply hit to Chacon. and over to first. But the Yankees cut the lead in half. We'll probably see a pinch hitter for Ken Johnson in this inning in the top of the seventh as Casco rips it to short. Two back over, a little high throw, but Skowron pulls it down. One out. Darryl Johnson 0 for 2. Another ground ball. Kubek gets him. So Ken Johnson is through for the day. And the veteran Gus Bell is going to pinch hit for him. So Gus Bell bats in the top of the seventh. Bell is 1 for 3 in the series with no RBIs. Here's Gus Bell, long-time outfielder with the Reds. Left side, Boyer over to first. Skowron has it. And that's going to be all. Clevenger gets out of the inning. And so the Reds are now going to come back with Sherman Jones to pitch in the seventh. Brosnan is a little tired. He may see some action today, but we'll see. Yogi Berra up. Yogi 0 for 2. Hitting 278. Here's the line in the pitch. Strike. Skowron up. Liner to Casco. 2 outs. Here's Boyer. Strike 3. Cleve Boyer goes down on strikes as Sherman Jones gets another strikeout. So now Elio Chacon is up against Clevenger. Clevenger out there for the second inning. He's thrown 18 pitches so far. He walks Chacon. Beta Pinson up. Fly ball. Mantle on his horse. But he gets back for it. Makes the catch for 1 out. Here's Frank Robinson 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. And a homer. Base hit up the middle. Right straight through the box. The Yankees are going to go to the bullpen. And they're going to bring Bud Daly in. Joe DeMaestri. Billy Gardner. He's going to come in and play third. So Post is up to face Bud Daly. 2 runners on for the Reds with 1 out. Let's see what Bud Daly can do here. Here's the pitch. Left field. Berra drifts over, and that ball's going to drop through. Berra couldn't get to it. And the runner's going to get home. The Reds go up 3-1. Here's Gordy Coleman. Liner to first. 2 outs. It's Skowron. Here's Freese. See if he can cause some damage. And Daly strikes him out. So Sherman Jones. Billy Gardner is going to lead off. In the bottom of the 9th. He's 0 for 1 in the series. Swing and a miss. Bobby Richardson. Pop up. Oh, that ball's going to get out center field, but Pinson has it. 2 outs. It's Kubek. Ripped to right. Frank Robinson pulls it down. End of the 8th. Eddie Casco up against Bud Daly. 3-1 Reds. Swing and a miss. Darryl Johnson. Ripped to right, but he pulls it in. And the Reds are going to bat for, Don Blasingame is going to bat for Sherman Jones, who's been outstanding out of the bullpen for the Reds. Blasingame, another ground ball to Scourin, but he dumps it over to Daly covering. And that means a new pitcher in for the Reds. And we're going to see Jim Maloney. Let's see what he can do. Mantle, Howard, Blanchard. Heart of the order up for the Yankees. They're down 3-1. They've had 4 hits in the game against this Reds pitching staff. Here's the line and the pitch. Fly ball right. 1 out. Austin Howard. Reds 2 outs away from tying this series. Base hit up in the middle. Howard keeps the inning alive with a base hit. Here's Blanchard. Maloney. That's going to dump in. That's another dinker. Base hit. Maloney's in trouble. Reds are going to go to the bullpen. They're going to bring in Jim Blasing. He's a little bit tired. But we're going to see if he can get the outs that the Reds need. Here we go. Yogi Berra up. 1 out. 2 on. Bottom of the 9th. In the stadium. Here's the wind and the pitch. Coleman, second. First. Double play ball. And the Reds are going to win it on a double play ball. Coleman behind the bag gets the play over. Second first. It's now a 3-3 World Series as the Reds win 3-1. Here's your box score. Reds had 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors. And they left 11 men left on base. That is very hard to believe, but they did. 11 men left on base in this game. Gene Freese was left on base 4 times in this game. Yankees finished with 1 run on 6 hits, 1 error, and they left 8. The winning pitcher is Ken Johnson. He's 1-0. Jim Brosnan gets his 3rd save, and Stafford takes the loss 0-1. Time of the game, 2 hours and 37 minutes, 19,217 spectators saw Game 6 go to the Cincinnati Reds 3-1, forcing a Game 7 tomorrow in the stadium. Thank you for watching this evening, and we'll be back with you next time for the decisive game in the replay of the 1961 World Series. Till then, good night, and God bless.